Welcome to Legacy and Leadership with David McKean. In my 20 plus years in the business world, I have noticed a common theme amongst all my clients. They're phenomenal leaders who are concerned about leaving a legacy in three main areas: community, family, and financially. Join me as we talk to proven leaders in their field about their specific ideas behind legacy and leadership. Welcome to Legacy and Leadership with David McKean. I am overjoyed to have a longtime friend of mine join us today, Andrea Moore. She graduated from Vanderbilt University School of Engineering, and also while she was there, she played for the ladies golf team. Following school, she joined Stanley Black & Decker's Manufacturing Management Development Program. Can't wait to hear more about that. And she held various leaderships within that company, including materials manager for Black & Decker and Dewalt Power Tools in Mexico. So quite an experience there. Andrea's also worked in the concrete industry for more than 8 years, providing technology solutions for large-scale data centers, automotive manufacturing, bridges, and energy sector projects. She currently serves on the 22nd Bank Board of Directors. She's previously served on the Board of Directors for United Way of Southwest Alabama, for the Exploreum, for Junior League of Mobile, and also Mobile Area Educator Foundation, among others. So welcome, Andrea, to Legacy and Leadership. We're glad to have you. So how do you see the landscape for women in leadership evolving, and what still needs to change to help close the gap?
So interesting. I live in a world where I feel like every opportunity is available if you just go get it. And I've never thought that anything was unachievable, unattainable. I don't have that mentality.
Yep.
So I feel like if there's something I want to do or something I want to achieve, I've got this great support system, great team of people, amazing people that I know in different industries. You just put it together and make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know that I know a lot of statistics would probably say there's still a gap, and I know there's probably still a wage gap for sure. But I see so many women who have started and own their own businesses, and are very successci in that. And
Right.
there's some big mega corporations now, right? Billion-dollar corporations
Yep.
being sold that are women run. So I think for me personally, I just think we need to continue to mentor really all the kids, right? I mean, not just girls, boys. I'm a mom of 3 boys.
Sure.
So, I see all of it, but I think giving everybody their best potential for success is important. But I just feel like the world is limitless right now. You can learn anything on YouTube.
Yep.
And I was sitting on a job site Sunday, but yesterday morning I got up at 6 o'clock and I'm teaching myself how to do Figma to build a website because I have this business idea. And so I'm sitting there watching these great YouTube videos and I'm like, you really can learn and do anything you want to do today because it's all out there.
Right.
So I think the biggest thing, if there's a female out there and she's feeling like she's uncertain or unsure,
Mm-hmm.
I think just like that wonderful training I had at Junior League taught me, sometimes you do need a partner. Sometimes you do need somebody to help you with those pieces you don't know as well. And for me, it's about being less risk averse. And
Absolutely.
So I think just filling in those resources that you need is the most important thing. And if you do that, sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. When did you begin to feel like your leadership became impactful to those around you?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I hope we make a difference, right? I mean, I hope we do. And one of my goals through volunteering was always, I'd love to eventually set up a foundation. I'd love to be able to financially support this because what I always saw was we had amazing volunteers in this community, especially. I could call 10 people right now and say, hey, we need to be, at this entity and we need to do a complete cleanup of their park. And they would all be there with shovels.
Right.
So I think, in our community, we have just amazing people who want to help and do the right things. I always wanted to be able to help fund it because the funding was always the hard part for a lot of projects.
Sure.
And so, being able to set up a foundation for the first time in 2023, the end of 2023, and being able to finally financially support those
Sure.
organizations um, has been really rewarding. I mean,
Yeah.
we like to be hands-on and do the work too,
Sure.
and we always have, but I think to be able to fund it is really great because I just saw the struggle that so many nonprofits
Right.
had with, making payroll, but I would see the difference they were making through counseling services or
Sure.
other things they were doing and how much of a difference it made to one individual.
Right.
And I think, our friend Brad used to say, from Andy Stanley, do for one what you wish you could do for many.
Yep.
And I think if we can help fund some things and that makes a difference for them, then I'm so happy about that.
Absolutely. It's I love that you grabbed onto that because I have too. And just to repeat that for our listeners, do for one what you wish you could do for many. So many times we're overwhelmed by the need of a particular circumstance or our inability to
Mhm.
satisfy all of the need because we want to help so much. And I think it's so important for us as leaders to break that down and just love and serve the person in front of us
Mhm.
as simply as we can.
Yeah,
So that's
I agree.
fantastic. Is there one principle in leadership that stands out in your mind that's always true no matter what the circumstance?
Oh, yeah. There's so many different aspects to leadership that
Hmm.
I think, you could answer that a lot of different ways. But um, my favorite leaders that I get to work with day in, day out um, tend to have just a guiding star, if you will, that they're always going to do the right thing for the person in front of them,
Yeah,
and they're always going to be honest
sure.
about the answer. And so I think for me, that's the biggest thing. If we take care of the people around us that we get to work with and have the privilege of working with, and if we are always honest
Yeah,
when something will and won't work, I think the rest will take care of itself.
yeah, yeah. A thought that's come to my mind several times during the course of this conversation that I think says what you're saying, perhaps in a different way, came from me reading an autobiography of Jeff Bezos,
Mm,
and of course his impact through Amazon and impact, quite frankly, around the world. He was obsessed with the client experience, but flexible on the details of how to get there. And I think that's at the core of so many things you said.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah,
As I've got a couple business ideas going through my head, and as you're trying to develop those, we've been lucky enough in this community to have Innovation Portal
yeah,
and some tremendous resources there that I've used over the years. We were one of their first clients. So I think it's been so helpful to have them say, "What's the big thing? Don't worry about the details.
yeah.
Those can be sorted out later, but get the big things done and quit wasting time on the little things." So
Absolutely.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's true.
That's
Get it to the finish
fantastic.
line.
That's fantastic. Tell us about your legacy thoughts. What does that word legacy mean to you?
Oh, I don't, I guess as a mom, I just hope that, I hope my kids have, a strong faith, are good people, contribute to the community. I love them dearly, but, within my family unit, that's kind of the
Yeah,
legacy. And it's not just that I want them to be happy. I want them to help others be productive and make a difference in their world too. So I think, from a family perspective, it's that. From a business perspective, I know a lot of people are out there to really grow the company, sell the company, grow the company, sell the company. And yeah, that's business for sure. But I feel like our legacy in this business is I hope that, when we're no longer doing this, that we've made a positive impact on our customers, on our friends, on the people we got to work with. I hope we've made them laugh,
mm-hmm.
on some days that were kind of difficult. We have them,
Sure.
certainly working in construction and concrete world. But we truly have had some of the most amazing customers, friends, people to work with, people that really gave us a chance in the beginning that, they knew we'd research, they knew we had the technology, they knew we had all the
Right.
things because we had the science behind it, but they believed in us and gave us a chance. And so I think that legacy going forward of just always giving people a chance, right?
Yep.
Um, and yeah, taking care of them.
Yeah, absolutely. What nuggets can you give our viewers to start today that have proven successful for you as it relates to legacy or leadership?
Mm. Yeah. So part of being a business owner is that there's nobody pushing you but you. And as a co-owner, I think we're both very self-driven, but you can at times, get a little complacent in things. And so I have to set micro goals for myself. So I used to do this in college and it's carried through. But I'd say, okay, I've got a big test coming up. I'm going to study for 3 hours. Then I'm going to give myself a reward.
Yep.
I'm going to go grab a snack. I'm
Yep.
going to go get myself a milkshake, whatever it is. And so, even with these new business ideas that I've had, I think you have to get it done. You have to get it to the finish line. And nobody's going to push you but you. And so you have to, I like to make a schedule. I like to make a list. I like to be able to mark it off, but I have to actually intensely go in and set these micro goals for myself. When I accomplish this part to get it to the finish line, I'm going to, go do this, whatever it is. Maybe go have lunch with friends, whatever. But I just set up micro goals for myself to kind of get it there.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. I know your three boys, and they've all been successful up to this point in their academic careers and life. How have you conveyed that to your children in terms of setting goals and accomplishing their tasks?
Yeah, I think it's been interesting. I think they're also unique and they're also different. Um, I have always been more of an iron sharpener,
Okay.
not as maybe as compassionate as,
Sure. Understand.
always open arms, love them. But one of the boys even said one time, I think with one of the youth leaders, it was like, oh, describe your mom. And it was like 4 options. He's like, iron sharpener.
Okay.
That's because if I see something, I say it and we talk about it.
Sure.
And um, I can't tell you that that's right or wrong. It's kind of who I am. It's how God made me. So,
Sure.
um, so that's what I tend to do. I have learned as time's gone on that everybody's going to have their own journey
Sure.
and it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
And I think for me, for each one of my children, I think God kind of uses the adversities
Mm-hmm.
to, strengthen our faith
Yep.
and to do these things. And so it's hard to watch kids go through difficult times.
Sure.
And, but I think, being there for them, loving them through that and trying to be more compassionate about that
Sure.
because the trials make us who we are.
Absolutely.
And so, but it's hard. It's hard to do that with kids. I think academically, yeah, we definitely encourage that and try to stay on top of the homework, more so with the first one than with the last one. We got tired like all parents do, I'm sure. But
Sure.
thank goodness the last one seems to be self-motivated. But yeah, I think the fun is in really great learning. And I do want to see our schools do even more with artificial intelligence. I think it's where everything's going.
Right.
I mean, I'm using it now for
Right.
work. So I know that they're going to have to be well versed in this. So, um, but I think just constantly challenging them. I called my oldest, he's in the Army now, and he's 18X. I've learned a whole new language, the Army language, which is amazing. So proud of him. But, he's trying to go special forces. And I called him the other day and he had a small injury. So he's, I think on light duty just for a week or two. And he had a little bit of free time in the afternoon. I said, can you help me with this AI issue that I'm
Okay.
having? I said, here's what I want to do. I'd love to get your help with it. And he said, just ask AI. And I was like, oh, of course. That's the right answer. And then I did. And I'm like, so the next generation thinks completely different than we do. They already just intuitively know faster and easier how to optimize it, how to use it. And I think we've got to tap into that. And so for them academically, I love to ask those questions and challenge them, but then get them thinking. And then they end up helping me too. So, yeah, this is the master becomes the student, right?
Well,
That's where I am in this process.
I love that because many leaders aren't humble enough to ask someone younger than them or even their children in this case for help. And I think that's a phenomenal quality of a great leader is to what some might consider lower your pride and ask for help. But the truth is in this circumstance and doing that, you got exactly the advice you needed.
Oh, yeah. I think it's so fascinating to me. I think the greatest opportunity in business right now, if there is one thing I would want to do, it is take, your 30 somethings, your 40 somethings, your 50 somethings, your 60 somethings. They are in an industry where they know what they're doing and they know where the problems are and they know what can be optimized, but they don't have the skill set that these students who are in AI every day are learning. And it's like if we could marry the two, if we could put these two groups together, here's the problem, here's the micro problem. Oh, yeah, I can do that, no problem. At 18, at 16, at 19, that's where we're going to get, I think, the biggest benefit the fastest, and where we're going to see the most business growth. I already have 2 ideas around it. I actually went to Vanderbilt's website this morning because that's where I went to school, and they did their first event around this convoy. They did it this year, and they brought in all these entrepreneurs because they understand that it's going to take both. It's going to take people that are really living the day in, day out problem of this, because the 16-year-old hasn't seen that problem yet. But they absolutely know how to use AI and coding and solve it. And so when we put those two together, I just think you're going to see so many businesses come out of this. I'm very excited about it. Working on a couple in the background that I would love to kind of further along. But that's the reason I went looking at what they're doing. And I think University of South Alabama here locally is something I want to talk to their president, Joe Bonner, about. I think that there's so much opportunity for these really skilled young adults to become co-owners, partners, and really achieve some phenomenal success when they understand the problem. But they're the ones who really know the background, how to move it forward. So
absolutely,
I'm excited about it.
Absolutely, it's funny to hear you say that, because I've had similar thoughts in terms of a business idea of training people about AI. And connecting the earlier part of our conversation, perhaps there's another potential opportunity to better teach communication skills to these younger children, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
to have that back and forth and sharing of ideas of what one strong suit might be is perhaps the other's weakness, and vice versa.
Yeah. I think when I was in college, even in engineering, I had an entire semester, and it was a technical communications class. It was critical. They're like, you can have the right answer, you can solve the problem, but if you can't communicate it to the team, what's it worth, And so, but they went through presentation skills, written skills, all of it from start to finish. And I think it really, of all the classes I took, that's probably the one that benefited me the most. And it's what I still use today when I'm doing presentations and they're technical, and I get lots of technical questions and have to do some math on the fly. It's like, okay, like I felt prepared for it. But I feel like, they've kind of moved away from that in a lot of disciplines. I think it's so, so important in business, because you're usually with a team. And so you got to learn how to listen well, but then also learn how to succinctly deliver your ideas. It doesn't have to be an hour-long presentation. It can be 5 minutes, as long as it's got everything it needs in it. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for joining us here today. You have shown us your heart and shared some phenomenal ideas and thoughts, and we're grateful for that. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Legacy and Leadership with David McKean, and you're able to take away proven tactics that you can implement in your day-to-day life regarding legacy and leadership. If you have questions or ideas for future shows, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at 251-648-6461, or you can email me at legacyandleadershipgoal@gmail.com. Thanks so much for joining us.